You submit the questions. Anything you want to know about network marketing, leverage sales, prosperity, or success, you submit the questions. I give the answers. Deal or no deal? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. This is the Duplication Nation MLM podcast, as you probably figured out by now. And this is Ask Me Anything, episode number 1. I have been posting on Instagram again now and then. And then I have a Facebook page called Direct Selling Daily. And so on those two accounts, I put out the notice, hey, submit any questions you want, and I'll pick the best ones and that I think help the most people, and I'll answer them. And so if you don't follow those two accounts, make sure you do that. It's just Randy Gage, my name on Instagram. And then on Facebook, the group is called, or the page is called Direct Selling Daily, and then follow that. And assuming you already subscribe to the Duplication Nation update, that free email that comes out every Wednesday. So I put out the call. You guys sent in some amazing questions that I think can offer some real insights for everybody who's watching or listening. So the first one comes from Derek Thompson, and he said, with everything available through the web, are multi-level companies still relevant? I love this question because I think they're more relevant than ever. For a couple of reasons. One, for the way technology and the internet and all this information is impacting us, everybody in the world, and because of the economy and what's happening to it right now. So start with the economy. I mean, we're in a very difficult financial time everywhere in the world. The COVID pandemic and the lockdown and the government responses and all of the free money they printed and threw out of helicopters. The bills are due now. The US now pays more money on interest on its debt than they do for the defense budget. It's just crazy. And we're one of the countries in better shape, right? Compared to, come on, Argentina and Venezuela and Turkey right now is 10 minutes away from being the next Venezuela. A lot of economic problems. And what do we know? We know when the economy is doing terrible, our business is counterintuitive, counterindicative, and the business does well because people are looking for extra incomes. The other thing is just there's so much marketing. There's so much white noise. There's so much manipulative marketing. There's so much AI generated marketing. There's so much brainwashing being done by computer algorithms on the social media platforms. The people they don't trust anything anymore. They don't trust the news. They don't trust the government. They don't trust the court system. They don't trust virtually anything. And one of the things that, if you guys anyone here who didn't watch the episode a few back, it's called Digital Duplication, make sure you watch that one. I looked at something that Jeff Bezos does and Warren Buffett does, both of them brilliant entrepreneurs, who instead of trying to predict the future and say, hey, what's going to be different 10 years from now? They said, what's going to be the same? And you know what's going to be the same 10 years from now? People are going to want to fire their boss and work for themselves. People are going to want to work from home. People are going to want to be social entrepreneurs, and they're going to want to make money by helping other people be successful. And people will trust people they know much more. And that's why I say it'll be even a big boost for the business, because you can't watch a video of your favorite pop star or your movie star or your sports star today and even know if it's real, because of all the AI generated deep fake videos and things like that. Because things are edited and taken out of context, because everything's being worked for clickbait. When you have somebody you know and you love and they trust and you trust, and they come to you with a product line, a service line, a business opportunity, I think you're going to be much more likely to listen to them. So I think big things are ahead. I think we're entering a golden age of network marketing. Okay, next one is in a Selke, who's on Instagram account. How do you keep activity level up in the team? Here's what I say. For 30 years, I've been preaching and teaching. You make or break your new people in the first 2 weeks, and the first 48 hours is critical. What are we talking about there? We're talking about getting them from hope to belief, right? We're getting them to confidence. We're getting them to proficient in the basic skill sets. And this is where, if you read my book, listen to any of the training, I'm always talking about the new distributor orientation, the NDO. You've got to have a booklet, a video, a follow along tutorial, some process that takes people through signing up, learning how to use their back office, getting their first customers within the first 48 hours, making their first invitations within the first 48 hours. And we talked, look, another good episode to go back and review for people who want to do more on this is the one on active versus passive recruiting. Do you create a passive recruiting culture from day one, right? So like my particular company, we have a rank that, forget the title, I don't ever endorse companies or talk about stuff like that. I want your people to know it's safe to come here to Duplication Nation, anything we do. But the first rank is a very simple one, and let's say it's 300 some points on two different sides of an organization. We create a culture that, hey, you want to get to this rank in the first 2 weeks. Other people who worked that company before me, their culture was, it takes 6 months to get to that rank. It's just insanity to me. But that's how the culture they set, because I don't know, I had a lot of people who didn't understand the skill sets and of building a business. They kind of just loved the products and sold the products, and they didn't really learn what we call the parachute skills, inviting and working the candidate list, those kind of things, meeting people. So that's a culture you set. So we set the culture right away. You got to get to that first rank. And our team, we like to break that rank in the first 2 weeks. The rank above that, we like to break that rank in the first month you're in the business. So you create a rank advancement culture, and you create an active recruiting culture. Whereas part of the training, part of the NDO is, hey, you've got to set aside a block of time every week just for inviting. All right, what's the next one is from Eric Talavida Lundstad, is I believe how to say that. I love this question. He says, car bonus in 2024, hot or not? I'm going to say warm. Here's why. I love car and lifestyle bonuses. I think they're very effective to create culture, to drive growth. Recognition is always more important than money. I remember when I opened up network marketing in Croatia back in the 90s, right? We opened right after the Civil War started, where they were breaking away from Serbia. So it was crazy, right? And I was in charge of designing the comp plan for my client. So I created one and I put a car fund in there. And my country manager there was like, Randy, I put in a car bonus. It's like, Randy, you can't have a car bonus in there. If people are winning cars, the neighbors are going to come and slash the tires and break the windshield. It's tone deaf. And I said, no, Maria, I really believe the fact that people have to earn these cars and they do it with work, they do it by qualifying. And the fact they're doing this in wartime conditions is even more amazing. And that's what happened when the first person got the first bonus car. People, their neighbors, just their friends, their family, they came from miles and miles away to see that car. So I love those kind of lifestyle things. But here's why I say it's kind of warm right now, because back then, and really till very recent, and a lot of companies are still doing this like it's the 1990s, right? It's just the Lambos and the Ferraris and the exotic supercars and stacks of cash and bimbos in bikinis, and they're just appealing to the lowest common denominator. And the real movement taking place in our profession today is the millennials and the following generations. Those are the people producing the biggest growth in the business. They don't have that materialistic bent that we had in the 90s and the 80s. And so the idea, the slides with all the supercars, it kind of falls on deaf ears with a lot of those people. They're much more excited to get out of debt. They're much more excited to hear about becoming a social entrepreneur. They're very environmentally conscious, and they love the idea of doing a business that they're making the world a better place. So I definitely skew my marketing platform, the copy, the presentations to those things. But here's the thing I would say about car programs. And I'm giving some multi-million-dollar advice to some president or founder or VP of marketing who is listening right now. If you take this idea, because I gave it to one of my clients and they didn't use it. They just thought it was too hard to implement and they didn't do it. But what I wanted my client to do was to create a car program, but it had to be only for EVs or hybrids. EV meaning electric vehicles for you guys in the other countries. Because then I felt it was really congruent with the mission of that company. And they're like, but not every country, Tesla isn't in all the countries and there isn't charging stations everywhere and they're harder, they're more expensive, some of those cars. And so they didn't follow my advice. And I think they missed a big opportunity. And somebody's are going to do that and they're going to be very successful with it. All right. Our next one is from Fihintola Onagurua the second. I think this was also on Facebook. She's asking about, well, I say she, could be a he or she is asking about system that can easily be duplicated. Why do they call me Mr. System? Because I practice the formula for duplication, which is we empower a large group of people to do a few simple actions for a sustained period of time. 3 parts of that equation. First, you need a large group of people. You cannot sponsor 2 or 3 people and think you're going to build a big team. It's not going to happen. I know there's people selling you $497 ebooks and promising that's all you have to do is get 2 people and teach them to each get 2 people each month. It sounds good. It looks good. It looks good on paper, looks sexy on a PowerPoint deck. Just doesn't work. You need enough people to get traction. So you need to recruit heavily, particularly when you begin. And then it's a few simple things, few simple actions. And the key here is the principle of external source tools. If you can make an incredible 90-minute presentation on your product line, you're going to sign up a lot of customers, you'll probably enroll a lot of people, and you're going to have terrible duplication. If you use a tool that shows that product line presentation, you're going to get much more long-term duplication. Same thing, maybe you're one of those idiot savants who can do a 3-hour presentation on every element of your compensation plan. That's genius. Okay, you're going to get some people buying kits, but they're not going to be able to duplicate what you've done. So if you stick to always using external source tools, then you're going to get much more duplication. And that's where the big growth is going to come in. All right. Next one is my dear friend, Tibor Horvath. The hardest step, the first step. There are many recipes for it. How to make it, what do you need? The question is, what is the easiest path to it? I guess meaning the first step, in any situation that anyone can take without thinking. I know it's the Holy Grail, but I believe it doesn't have to be inherently that complicated. Yeah, Tibor, 100%. For me, the big, what I have honed it down to over the course of 45 years in the profession, what I have laser focused, honed it down to, is the standardized new distributor orientation. Everybody does that. As soon as they're enrolled, you give them that guidebook, that workbook, the link to the video, whatever it is, and say, hey, go through this and call me as soon as you're finished. And as part of that training, I'm building in where they're having a grand opening get together in their home and signing up their first customers. They're inviting the 10 people who love them the most and saying, I'm having my grand opening and I want you as a customer. And then they're doing the major blast. And they literally are doing invitations in their first 48 hours in the business. So remember, you make them or break them in the first 2 weeks, and the first 48 hours is critical. If you get them into action in those first 48 hours, and they are, let me have this thing popping up on my screen. Let me get rid of that. They are actually getting some customers in those first 48 hours. They're actually enrolling some people, scheduling events. People are committing to coming to events. They stay in. You reduce your dropout rate by like 80%. So that's the nexus of that Tibor. And anybody, needs more on that, then my book, Direct Selling Success. That's my soup to nuts, complete duplicable system on the entire business. My 45 years of experience condensed into one how-to book. So if you wanted to go deeper on that, then do that. Next one is from D Blessed Lucky. Asking for a step-by-step guide on how to recruit 20 people in 30 days and what it'll cost/require. This is very related to the last question, Lucky, which is that major blast. If you do that major blast, exactly as I describe it in my book, which means because you're not responsible for signing up everybody, right? That's a choice they're all going to make. You have no control over whether they join your business or they don't. What you have control over is giving them an invitation to see a presentation. And my team, I mean, we're pushing people to get out 80, 90, 115 invitations in their first week, their first 10 days. We're doing by text. We're doing by SMS, the messenger apps, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, whichever is the big one in your country. We're doing it on that. I always have a mass market recruiting tool that we can leave out in doctors and dentist office and seat pockets and the ride share and the airplanes and things like that. And calling certain people and and of course, social media and just getting in, DMs, not posting public stuff of inviting people, pitching people on social media. Again, if you haven't, go back and review that episode from a few weeks back called Digital Duplication, because I really break down how to use social media effectively in a way that duplicates. So if you do that and you just put the message out and you're just inviting people to an external source tool, meaning one-on-one with a flip chart, a whole meeting with 6 people in it, a hotel meeting with 600 people in it, a Zoom meeting with 34 people, a Facebook live stream with 2,000 people, but some kind of third-party tool with a presentation, getting people in front of that. And then in terms of what it costs, it's almost nothing. Don't buy some expensive course. Don't, you know what I mean? Invest in your distributor kit, whatever your main activation order package they have, and the business building tools, the mass market tool, product catalogs, whatever, that kind of stuff. That's not big money, but it can produce big money. So again, look at how to do a major blast in the book if you need more on that, and that will help you. All right, so we have Sarah Viejas Milhero. Oh, and she's gonna make me work. She said, hablar sobre cómo hacer que el equipo te siga y esté inspirado y motivado hacia las acciones a realizar. So basically, I'm doing this right, which may or may not be. She might have just called me a pig. I don't know. I believe she's saying, talk about how to make the team follow you and be inspired and motivated toward the actions to be taken. And my 3-word mantra here, model the behavior. Model the behavior. This is the greatest thing you can do to get your team into action, is to be in action, to demonstrate. I was just working with a different company a couple of weeks ago in their headquarters, and they're, making some enhancements to their compensation plan. And I was yelling at them, change the name of the ranks, because they have somebody, gets 2 people and they call them a manager, and they get 4 people and they call them a director. And then they wonder, why do people stop recruiting? It's because you're sending them a subliminal message, which is, hey, you're a manager now. You should manage the team. You're a director now. You should direct the team. No, senor. I mean, your first 6 months in the business, you should be a recruiting machine. So you go out and you model that behavior, and people model that. You're the one who worked down in depth. Tell people you're going to help them drive depth at least 10 levels deep with their candidate list, with their guests, but you help them. You rotate the pattern, teaching them what I like to call the parachute skills. Meaning, if you learn these skills, you could parachute into any country on earth and build a team, even if you didn't speak the language, any free market, right? So, what are the parachute skills? Meeting people, working the candidate list, inviting, using tools for presentation, external source tools, and follow up. Those are the parachute skills. So when you help people drive depth and you work down at least 10 levels with that, you're getting everybody proficient, at least proficient in those basics, those parachute skills. And that's what creates the activity. And like I said to the earlier question, when you create that rank advancement culture, you create a culture that you do the business with passion, intensity, and urgency. That's what works for your people. All right, next one is account is called Vivid Wellbeing on IG. Talk about mind shift and tactics difference from traditional sales. And the second line says team building without targeting income factor. All right, so that's two different questions. Let's deal with that second one because we've touched on this already. Team building without targeting the income factor. Guys, I have not recruited by talking about my income for at least 15 years now. It's just, first of all, I've gotten more concerned with my security and my privacy, and I've just learned that's just not a wise thing to do, to be out talking about how much money I earn, and I don't think it is for you as well. And I felt the market changing, like I say, with this bimbos in bikinis on the yacht and the helicopter on the back of the yacht and the private jets and the stacks of cash. You're programming to the lowest common denominator. And I don't think that's really the people you want in your business right now. The people you want in your business right now, to me, the social entrepreneurs. I'm using those words all the time in my presentations, because that's what I am. I'm a social entrepreneur. I've got a lot of wealth. I've done really well for myself. I don't need to do this business to pay the rent, right? I'm in great financial shape. I do the business to make a difference. I love being in the business. I love introducing people to the business and helping them grow and watch them live their dreams. So that's what I'm talking about. Quality of life. Hey, how can we get you debt-free as soon as possible? All right. So that's my advice on that. Now, the mind shift and the tactics difference from traditional sales is huge, guys. There are so many things that work amazing in traditional sales. If you want to manipulate people, that works great in traditional sales. Works terrible in our business. If you become an expert at closing people and convincing people, it works amazing if you're selling cars or copiers or timeshare. It works terrible in network marketing. Stop closing people, start opening people. Give them enough information for them to make the right decision for you, for them. Just give them enough information to know, hey, is this something I could do? Is this something I'd have fun I would do? Will they help me? Can I be successful with this? Would it be fun doing this? And let them make the right decision. And maybe yes, maybe no. Either way, it's okay. The only one you can't live with is a maybe. We just got to get them to one or the other. If they say no, great. Hey, is it okay if I tap you on the shoulder 6 or 8 months from now and kind of keep you updated on what's going on? If the company grows the way I think it's going to, if this unfolds the way I believe it's going to go, is it okay if I tap you on the shoulder 6 or 8 months from now and just check in, see if you want to take a look, right? Plant the seed, put them in a tickler file, and talk to them later. And the rest, they're ready to go. Boom. Take them through your new distributor orientation and get to work with them, building depth down their team. So you're opening them, you're not closing them. And because the thing that doesn't factor when you're selling cars, when you're selling real estate, when you're selling copiers and timeshares and insurance and light bulbs and furniture and motorbikes is duplication. There is no duplication in real estate. There's no duplication in selling cars. The single sexiest part of our business is leverage. Real estate, right? I love real estate. I've made a lot of money in real estate. I'm not a real estate agent. I never want to be a real estate agent because a real estate agent wakes up every morning unemployed. They just do. If they're in the business for 20 years, if they're in the business for 40 years, every single day they wake up, they're unemployed, and they're only going to make money if they sell a house today. They don't have leverage. They don't have the ability to recruit 7 people into the business and watch those 7 people turn into 35 people and watch those 35 people turn into 170 people and watch them turn into 300 some people, and get the benefit of ongoing passive income. So it's really important. Don't get seduced by the sales trainers who want to sell you their courses and their coaching program, who aren't in the business, who don't understand the business. When you go to duplicationnationcom, you're learning from Jaime Lokier and myself. We're in the business. We're builders. This isn't some shit we read in a book somewhere. This isn't some abstract theory, that concept we want to experiment on your team with. When you learn something from us, we brought the receipts. We did this. We're successful. We're in the business. We know what works. And that's what we're teaching, right? So don't get seduced with sales techniques that aren't going to duplicate. All right, we got one more. That's from my esteemed colleague, David Pearson. Good to hear from you, David. All right, so this is the last one, and it's a great one. What do you like most about our profession, and what do you like least? All right, what do I like least? Let's get that out of the way. What I like least about it right now is the fake gurus who are in the business. The people who built 30 years ago and don't know how it works today, and they're still milking an income by selling shit to your team. The people who have never been in the business, but they're a social media influencer, or they're a sales trainer, or they're a relationship coach, or they're a whatever. They have domain expertise in another area, and they're selling it to you in our business, but they don't understand our business. And then, of course, the worst element of those people, the ones who are actually promoting the Ponzi schemes and the MLM crypto scams. It's just despicable that these people are whoring out their name. And I'm talking best-selling authors, famous speakers, people from our profession that call themselves gurus. It's unconscionable. They're promoting absolutely illegal scams, Ponzi schemes that are harming people. And they're pretending that it's leverage sales, direct selling. And it besmirches the name and the profession for all of us. So that's what I hate about it. That's why Jaime and I started Duplication Nation. That's why we do this podcast. I do a show every week. If you're not a subscriber, you need to, click the subscribe button. I do a show every Tuesday in English. Jaime does a show every Tuesday in Espanol, right? And we're out here fighting the forces of evil. We started duplicationnation.com to help take the profession back from these sketchy, creepy, sleazy con artists. So make sure you subscribe, tell your team about the channel, go to Duplication Nation, and join the movement to take the profession back. What do I like most about our profession? That personal development is just baked in the cake. It's the only profession I know that the recipe for success in that profession requires daily self-development and personal growth, because those are the only people who make it long-term in our profession. Those are the only people who make it to the high levels in our profession, is they work on themselves every day. They're reading amazing books. They're listening to empowering podcasts. They're taking, quality coaching programs from quality people who are forcing them to do the work on themselves, to dig deep. You need a coach who's not afraid to get in your grill, to get metaphorically grab you by the lapels and shake you and challenge you to become the highest possible version of yourself. That's what I love. Seeing people grow, I'm telling you. The people you know how many home meetings I have done in 1-bedroom efficiency apartments, in mobile homes, in trailer parks, in like campers that you pull behind a truck, that they live in that little camper. And we have some meeting with 8 people sitting on the floor and the bed and the table and everything when they're launching their business. The people, and they buy their first suit, and they come, and the label of the designer is still on there because they don't know to take that off. The vent in the back of the suit is still sewed up because they don't know. It's an off-the-shelf thing. It fits them terribly. But they bought their first suit. They make their first presentation. They might be deathly afraid of public speaking, and next thing you know, they're on a stage kicking ass with an incredible opportunity presentation or an incredible training thing. They're jumping on a Facebook Live and they're speaking to 3,000 people. My friend Mary, who was on welfare, living in her friend's basement, raising her 2 kids after a divorce, who built up a $30,000 a month income. The guy who came to my event in Peru, riding in the back of a chicken truck over the mountains from Colombia. The guy who rode a mule to the event in a tiny little village in Peru. This just doing an event in Malaysia, and Muslim and Hindu and Christian and agnostic and atheist, and everybody just together as one family with one dream. All that stuff you see on social media, all the hate and the war and the stuff that's going on in the rest of the world, I don't see that on my team. I have people of so many different faiths and people of no faith, and they're working together on building a better world, building their dreams, being social entrepreneurs, helping other people reach success. That's what I love about the business, David. That's what I love more than anything else. So thanks for that question. Thank you, everyone, for the questions. I know we couldn't get to all of them. We picked the best we could that we thought would help most people, but I promise you, I will do this again. We'll make it a regular thing every so often. We'll do an Ask Me Everything. So I hope you found this really helpful. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with your team, and I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, Tuesday morning. Peace.